Night of Champions 2025 just concluded about 10, maybe 15 minutes ago. And if you're me, I'm calling it afternoon of Summer of the Champions. But regardless of what you want to call it, we got to give our thoughts about it. We got to talk about it. And this won't be long, so don't worry. So before we get started, guys, please do me a favor. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Let me know how you feel in the comment section. Let's get into this. So this card kicked off with the King of the Ring finals between Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. Now, to me, I thought this was a great way to start off the show. I thought this was a pretty good match, and one of the many things I loved about it is that this match didn't overstay its welcome. I thought the match was a perfect length for them doing what they needed to do, but ultimately, what I really, really liked was them planting seeds and hinting at the heel turn of Randy Orton throughout this match, giving us an idea that we may be getting the 2009 Randy Orton back, and if we do, that will be fantastic. We had a spot where you saw Cody Rhodes. He was down on all fours, and you could see Randy Orton wrestling in his mind. You know, he heard voices in his head. He was trying to figure out, should I wrestle like I should do, or should I punt kick the blonde dye out of this man's head? I can see the field goal post building in the head of Randy Orton, and he runs up, attempts to do the punt kick, and missed. And that showed us that he's starting to get desperate. And then we saw another spot where he was going for a chair. The referee wasn't going for that. And then Randy took the cushion off the padding, off of the turnbuckle to get ready to hit Cody Rhodes' face against it. And it got reversed. Randy Orton hit his rib against it. And that ended up being the finish of the match where Cody Rhodes won the match. Now, the result is exactly what we thought it was going to be. I felt like this was a great combination of a good match and some seeds and story being planted in there. Because at the end of the match, when Cody Rhodes was holding the crown and, you know, congratulating Randy for being a part of this, kind of giving him his props and, you know, thanking the fans, you can see Randy Orton in the background standing by the ramp looking like, bro, I'm tired of this. I'm tired. He looked frustrated. He looked angry. He looked like he was ready to run back in that ring and hit Cody with an RKO. Because if you think about it, when Cody Rhodes first got that title, he gave Kevin Owens an opportunity at that title. He gave him multiple title shots, even when Kevin Owens told him, no, I don't deserve this. I don't want it. And Randy was right there. Randy kept looking at that title over and over. And with Randy being his friend, I'm sure Randy feels a way like, you didn't even offer me an opportunity at that title. And I'm sure they're going to swing back around to that storyline. So Randy turning heel is perfect. That tells us we're going to get Cody versus Randy sometime soon. And I think it's going to be a fantastic situation. But overall, I thought this first match was pretty good. The second match we got on the card is a street fight between Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez. And I told you guys in the prediction that this was one of the matches I was super excited to see because I love street fights. I love hardcore matches. I love no disqualifications, all those kind, because it's just pure destruction. And with both of these women being as strong as they are, I thought if they gave it enough time and did what they needed to do, this would have been one of Raquel Rodriguez, probably her best match and one of Rhea's best matches on the main roster. Now, some people may not consider it that after the fact, but I thought the match was still a lot of fun. We saw a crazy spot of Raquel Rodriguez taking the top of the commentator table, putting it over the barricade and slamming Rhea right through it. I don't think I've ever seen that spot in WWE ever. Like, I thought that was really creative, really new. And I love the destruction that was happening there from Rhea Ripley whipping Raquel Rodriguez with a belt. All the, you know, Raquel having Rhea tied up to the ropes and just whipping her with the kendo stick. All the crazy things. These women put their bodies on the line for this match. Now, although I thought the match was a whole lot of fun, and I love the fact that they got to showcase their strength, I don't feel the same way about the finish. And I'm not one of those fans who are like, oh, if my favorite wrestler doesn't win, that means this match is stupid. I just am a little confused about how this whole thing happened. Because as I predicted, Roxanne Perez did come out to help, but she got stuffed into a garbage can. It was in the garbage can for the rest of the match. What is the guy from Sesame Street called? The Grouch or whatever? He was just in the garbage the whole time after that happened. So it was almost like, what was the point of her even coming out? Why not just let Raquel Rodriguez lose clean? Because if they're going to have Roxanne come out and help Raquel, that would have helped the storyline. That would have helped build the relationship by Raquel and Roxanne and building their trust, because Raquel's like, hey, as long as you're around, I feel comfortable in some of these matches and I know you can help me win. And then Raquel could have helped Roxanne in the match later on, and they could have like their whole back and forth going on, building this relationship until Liv Morgan returns. But to have Rhea Ripley still win this match, it kind of is like, okay, so now what's next with this whole situation? Because this whole Roxanne being involved, that could have built up into a tag team match against, Rhea and Brie Bella if they wanted to at Evolution. I don't know. But if they're doing the Bella sisters or the Bella twins, maybe against Roxanne and Raquel for those tag titles, maybe that could be the reason why they did it. But overall, regardless of the ending, I thought the match was a lot of fun. I love these type of matches, and this didn't change my mind about that at all. The next match we had on the card was between Karrion Kross and Sami Zayn. And this was another match that I thought was pretty decent, but another one where I thought the ending was pretty interesting, to say the least. Karrion Kross did look really strong in this match. He did dominate majority of this match. But to have, and I get why, because Sami Zayn, huge supporter, that's pretty much his hometown. He came out with, if anyone is familiar with the fabric he had around his head as he was coming out. I don't want to misspeak and say it's something that is not. Let me know in the comment section what it is. That told me that, okay, Sami probably is going to win this match. But again, it's not one of those situations where I wanted a wrestler to win and they didn't, so I don't like the match. I thought the match was pretty cool. But again, it's another opportunity where they could have afforded a storyline outside of the actual match by having it go a certain way. Sometimes it's not really about the wins and loss, but sometimes it's more about putting more legs into a feud if that's the direction they wanted to go. And I was hoping they would do that with Karrion Kross. But what happened here was Sami Zayn winning this match, especially with just a single haluva kick like he did to Braun Breaker for the IC title. It was a very underwhelming finish. And now it's like, what do they do with Karrion Kross at this point in time? Sami Zayn, that would have been the vehicle to at least show the fans that WWE is pretty serious about Karrion Kross. And if this would have slowly turned Sami heel, this would have been a great opportunity to build that type of storyline and something interesting for Sami Zayn to do. But since they didn't go that direction, again, I don't know what they're going to do with Karrion Kross at this point in time. Maybe they're not taking him seriously. Maybe he's not going to renew his contract, and this could be the reason why. But despite of that, I thought that the match overall was, I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. The next match we had on the card is for the United States Championship between Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. Now, this one ended completely the way I thought it would end. I thought that Jason Mateo would get involved and Solo Sikoa would win this match. Now, to our surprise, I've heard rumblings of Hikuleo showing up because he did show up on the main roster for some matches. But I didn't think it was going to be him and Tonga Loa. So that was very surprising. So now Solo Sikoa not only has his Tonga Loa back and has Jason Mateo, but now he has Hikuleo on his side and Jacob Fatu is by himself. So it makes you wonder, who is going to be on the side of Jacob Fatu? I mean, we know Jimmy and him is starting to build this relationship based upon what we saw on SmackDown, but now he's going to need two more people. And when Paul Heyman said this Bloodline storyline is just beginning, he is not playing. They are putting more and more legs on this, bro. It's starting to look like a centipede at this point in time. But it's going to be very interesting to see this. And I did like the idea or the fact that Solo Sikoa did win the title because to me, he is one of the most purest heels, one of the few heels on the main roster that actually gets booed. That him, Charlotte Flair, maybe there's a couple of others, but for the most part, Solo Sikoa is the only one. And he finally won a title on the main roster. So I think this is great for him. It's going to be very interesting what he's going to do next. And as a character, he's starting to build on his own. So to be honest, no, is he Roman Reigns? Absolutely not. But I think he can still do something interesting, with him being the character that he is now and with the version of the bloodline he has around him at this point in time. So overall, I thought the match was pretty decent. It didn't need to be long, but going to be interesting to see what happens next. And that's what I like about, matches that have story beats in there to have people guessing what's going to happen next, and that's going to make us want to watch SmackDown to see where they go from here. The next match we had on the card was the Queen of the Ring finals between Asuka and Jade Cargill. Now, before we get into the match itself, we got to give Jade Cargill her credit. That Storm cosplay was fire. That was like the whole time I was watching the match. Of course, I was watching the match, and I was like, but even though I was watching the match, that Storm cosplay, she had the cape and bro, she was killing it. When it comes to cosplay, nobody matches Jade Cargill and Zelina Vega. Jade she got Storm. She came out as Jade at one point in time. She came out as She-Hulk. She kills it every single time. Now, this match itself, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was honestly Jade Cargill's one of her better matches as of recently. And, she looked really strong here. Asuka, did as much as she could, but it just did make sense for Jade Cargill to win. And it's because the fact that Naomi has the Money in the Bank contract. Now, if she didn't have the contract, I would see Naomi coming in and costing Jade Cargill this match. But because she does have the briefcase, she wants to ruin a big moment in Jade Cargill's career. She said it on SmackDown. So this just makes all the sense in the world. And maybe we get Asuka versus Io Sky at SummerSlam or something like that. But she just got back. To have her come back and win, she is no better than what people complained about when it came to Charlotte Flair or when Becky Lynch took the title off of Bianca Belair. So, they did it the right way for her right now. Would it have been cool to see her win it? Yes, but it just makes all the sense in the world. The next match we had on the card was, what was the next match? So the final match we had on the card was the main event, John Cena versus CM Punk for the Undisputed Championship. I love the fact that CM Punk came out with the original Chicago flag colors, from the boots to the jacket, which I'm probably going to purchase myself. I think it's pretty fire. But I thought the match overall was really, really good. I thought it was a pretty good match. One of my favorite John Cena matches of the year. Again, him versus Randy Orton is one of those so far. But, it just felt a little too overbooked. Like, I knew that Seth Rollins trying to cash in the Money in the Bank contract was gonna happen, but I didn't think like everybody and their mom was gonna come out from Raw and get involved. Like, we had Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Of course, he's they're part of his faction, but I thought Seth was gonna come out alone. Then we got Penta getting involved. We had Sami Zayn getting involved. It was just like so much going on for them to kind of rubber band back to it being CM Punk versus John Cena. And John Cena ended up winning the match at the end of the day, and it wasn't a clean win. It wasn't a clean win. I mean, but we knew John Cena was gonna win. No surprise there. Does this mean CM Punk cycles back around to, I don't know, to Seth Rollins sometime soon? I mean, he hit CM Punk with the curb stomp, and CM Punk, once he get in the feud with somebody, he doesn't let anything go. It's FU for life. Drew McIntyre found out, so now I don't know if CM Punk is gonna cost Seth Rollins his Money in the Bank contract. I personally thought that it would be LA Knight to get involved because it felt like that they were building this feud between LA and their situation. But you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, but no, that wouldn't make any sense. But at the end of the day, I thought it was a fun match. So overall, Night of the Champions, I thought it was a fun show. A lot of questionable decisions as far as these finishes go that could have enhanced a lot of storylines, but that, those situations kind of took away from it a little bit. But overall, I thought it was a pretty good show if we just focus on the in-ring stuff. And overall, I had a fun time. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching. Salute, peace, have a great day.